Slope is the steepness of a line. So when we think about the term steep, we usually think of a roof or stairs, but whenever we're discussing slope, we're going to be thinking about the steepness of a line. So we can find the slope by counting the rise over the run. That is a ratio that represents slope. And normally slope is symbolized with a lowercase m. And we can count it on all of these lines pretty easily. So let's first look at the pink line. If I want to know the slope of this pink line, let's count the rise and the run from point to point. So up 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a rise of 4 and a run of 2. So the pink line has a slope of 4 over 2, which is equivalent to 2. And notice that it appears to be going up the hill. So if we are increasing from the left to the right, we say that we have a positive slope. So the pink line has a positive slope. Let's compare that with the slope of the blue line. So to get from this point to that one, we've got to go down 2. So down 2, forward 1, 2, 3. So the blue line has a negative slope. It's decreasing from left to right. So the blue line has a slope of negative 2/3. Next, let's look at the green line. The green line is a vertical line, and a vertical line is infinitely steep. There is no run. So when we talk about slope of a vertical line, we say that it is undefined because it's infinitely steep, and infinity is not something that we can define. Let's compare that with the orange line. The orange line is a horizontal line. It has no rise. So its slope is equal to 0. A horizontal line has a slope of 0. So in this problem, we're going to find the slope of the line that passes through the given points. So we have two ways of finding the slope. We can plot the points and count the rise and the run. So over 4, down 2, we'll call that point A. And then point B is at negative 1, 5. Back 1, up 5. That's point B. So we can count the rise and the run. And we can go from A to B or B to A. It doesn't matter. Let me go ahead and draw in the line with a handy dandy straight edge. So here's our line, and let's count the rise and the run, and then we'll use the slope formula that you should be familiar with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down 7, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This line has a slope of negative 7/5. Now, we can also find that by using the slope formula that you learned in Algebra 1. So the slope formula says this. It's the difference in the y-coordinates divided by the difference in the x-coordinates. So x number 1, y number 1, x number 2, y number 2. If we plug these in, we're going to get the same result. 5 minus negative 2 over negative 1 minus 4. So 5 minus negative 2 is 7. Negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. Negative 7 over 5, 7 over negative 5, exactly the same thing. So this line has a slope of negative 7/5, whether we count the rise over the run or whether we use the slope formula. Next, we're going to use, wrong page. We're going to graph some first. We're going to do some graphing, and we're going to be graphing from y equals mx plus b. And of course, y equals mx plus b is the point slope, or excuse me, the slope-intercept form of the line. So if we have y equals mx plus b, here are the different parts of this equation. First of all, of course, m is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. And the other x and y, they are referred to as open variables. So x, y are the open variables. They have to be open because if they're closed, then we're not talking about the whole line, we're just talking about one particular point on the line. That's why we need them to be x and y, so that they represent the whole line. So if we have y equals -3/2 x minus 4, we have a slope of -3/2. That means down 3, forward 2 from any point on the graph. And we have a y-intercept, b equals -4. That translates to the point 0, -4. So let's plot that point, and then let's rise and run from that point. So from that point, we're going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, forward 2, 1, 2, 3, forward 2. Of course, if we can go down 3, forward 2, we can obviously go up 3 and back 2 and be on the same line, 1, 2, 3, back 2. And that is how we can easily graph from the slope-intercept form. Notice that my line is decreasing. The function is a decreasing function because it's going down from left to right. So let's graph what's on the bottom here, which is y equals 4. Now, is there a way that we can think about this in terms of an XY chart? Because this is a line that confuses lots of people and they can't remember, is it horizontal or is it vertical? Well, in this given information, we are told that y equals 4. Y equals 4 no matter what. Y is completely restricted to being 4. But it gives no restrictions on what the domain values can be. So it could be 0, it could be -1, it could be 8, it could be -5. So when we plot these points, we see what kind of line we're dealing with. 0, 4, back 1, up 4, over 8, up 4, back 5, up 4. And what we see here is that when we have y equals a value, we are dealing with a horizontal line. So, conversely, what are we going to have when we have x equals 5? We can think of it similarly. We can write an XY chart, but this time x is completely restricted to being 5. And of course, when we have x values that are repetitive, we do not have a function. So x must be 5, but y has no restrictions. Y could be 0, -5, 5, -3. It could even be 107 if we wanted it to be. Now that won't fit on our graph, but the rest will. Over 5, up 0, over 5, down 5, over 5, down 3, over 5, up 5, over 5, up 10. What we have here is a vertical line. And of course, we know that the vertical line is not a function because the x values are repetitive and also because it does not pass the vertical line test. At the bottom, we have 3x minus 4y equals 20. In order for us to graph this, it would be helpful to put it in slope-intercept form. Right now, it is in standard form, and standard form is not very user-friendly. So to go to slope-intercept form, we need to solve for y. We need to get the y by itself. So let's do that. So if we have 3x minus 4y equals 20, let's subtract 3x from both sides. -4y equals -3x plus 20. Next, we need to divide everything by -4, which will give us y equals -3 over -4. Negative over negative becomes positive, so positive 3/4 x. 20 divided by -4 is -5. So we have a line that has a y-intercept at 0, -5, and has a slope of 3/4. Now it's very easy to graph. So here's my y-intercept, and my slope is positive this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, or excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's our line. So another review item in this particular lesson is using the point slope formula. So if we're given 2 points, how do we go about writing the equation of the line in slope-intercept form? Well, the first thing we need to do, if we're given 2 points, we should find the slope. So let's find the slope. We can do that by the slope formula or by plotting the points. We'll do it both ways. So over 0, down 4, and over 1, up 3. Now what I can tell here is that this is a pretty steep line. So it's going to have a slope that's bigger than 1. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 1. So the slope is 7, which let's verify that with the slope formula. x1, y1, x2, y2. So 3 minus -4 over 1 minus 0, that is 7 over 1. So equal to 7. So our slope is definitely 7. Now what we want to do here is use the point slope formula. The point slope formula says y minus y number 1 equals m times x minus x number 1. Everybody needs to know that. That is the point slope formula. Now I call this the use one and lose one method, because we are going to use the first point and lose the second point. We don't need it anymore. So we've got our point and we have our slope. The name of it tells you exactly when to use it. So once again, we have open variables. This y and this x, don't plug anything in for them. Let them remain open. So y minus -4, I'm just plugging in these two values for x1 and y1, equals m is 7, times x minus 0. So y plus 4, distribute, equals 7x minus 0, minus 4, minus 4. Of course, this is the y-intercept. Y equals 7x minus 4. So that is the equation of our line in slope-intercept form using the point slope formula. One more that is a throwback from Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Let's write the equation of a line that passes through the point 12, -8 and is perpendicular to the line 4x minus 2y equals 10. So the first thing we need from the given line is its slope. So let's find the slope of 4x minus 2y equals 10. I use my index card for that. Let's solve it for y. So 4x minus 2y equals 10. So let's move the 4x over. That is -2y equals -4x plus 10. Divide by -2. Everything gets divided by -2. Y equals 2x minus 5. So our given line in slope-intercept form is y equals 2x minus 5. Let's graph that line. So here is our given line. Now we want to create a new line. A new line that passes through the point 12, -8. And 12, -8, 10, 11, 12, -8 is all the way down here. Now, it's going to be a little bit difficult to draw that unless I know the slope. So perpendicular, the definition of perpendicular means meets to form a 90-degree angle. So I need a line that's going to go through this point and be perpendicular to the pink line. So Parallel lines rise and run at the same rate. Therefore, parallel lines have slopes that are equal. If that's true, then perpendicular lines must have slopes that are opposite, because this line has a positive slope, and reciprocal. So our perpendicular slope is going to be, in the upside down T is the symbol for perpendicularity. So if our given line has a slope of 2, our perpendicular slope is going to be negative 1/2. So what do we know now? We now know our slope is negative 1/2 and our point is 12, -8. So we are going to plug in our point and our slope into the point slope form of the line. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So this is our x1, this is our y1, this is our slope. Recall, this y and this x are open variables. Do not plug anything in for them. So y minus -8 equals our new slope, negative 1/2 times x minus 12. Distribute the negative 1/2. Y plus 8 equals negative 1/2 x plus 6. One last step to subtract 8 from both sides. And we get our new equation, y equals negative 1/2 x minus 2. So our new line that's going to start all the way out here at 12, -8 is going to have a y-intercept at -2, and it will be perpendicular to our given line. Perpendicular meaning it is going to meet to form a right angle. There we go.